For 40 years, David ruled over the kingdom of Israel. Now the time had come for David to appoint his successor. He promises his throne to his son Solomon, instructing him to walk in obedience and keep the commands written in the law of Moses. For the Lord had told David, "If your descendants watch how they live, and if they walk faithfully before me with all their heart and soul, you will never fail to have a successor on the throne of Israel." The Lord grants King Solomon great wisdom and a discerning nature. During Solomon's reign, he builds the great temple of God in Jerusalem. Even though David had honored God by bringing the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem, the Lord foretold that Solomon would be the one to build his temple.
Although considered wise, Solomon's judgment would fail him later in life. He allows himself to be led astray by those in Israel who still worship pagan gods. Solomon turns his back on God, and God reciprocates. He promises to tear the kingdom away from Solomon, not during his lifetime, but from his son. But for the sake of David, he does not take everything. God promises that Solomon's son would rule over one tribe of Israel. Solomon dies. His son Rehoboam takes the throne in Jerusalem. But another young man, Jeroboam, rebels against Rehoboam and, fulfilling God's promise, splits the once mighty kingdom. He becomes the king of Israel, while Rehoboam remains in Jerusalem as the king of Judah. The Israelite nation is separated, and so too are God's chosen people separated from him. They do evil in the eyes of the Lord. By the sins they commit, they stir up his jealous anger more than those who were before them.
But God sends prophets to his children to remind them of their covenant and to warn them of the consequences if they continue on in their wicked ways. Many kings come and go in Israel and in Judah. Some achieve godly reforms, others only make a mess of what they inherit. The kingdom of Israel is the first to fall. Heedless of the prophet's warnings, they are not strong enough to defend themselves against the invading Assyrians without God's help. The Israelites are taken into exile. Only the small kingdom of Judah now remains, for its king Hezekiah appeals to the prophet Isaiah to intercede on their behalf. God delivers Jerusalem from the hands of the Assyrians. However, the next message Isaiah delivers is not a warning, it is a promise. God will punish Judah for their behavior and exile them from their home.
Judah falls to Babylon, and the conquering forces burn the temple Solomon had built for the Lord. But while in captivity, the faith of God's people grows, fueled by the message of hope spoken by the prophets Jeremiah and Ezekiel. Israel would one day flourish again. When Babylon falls to Persia, the king allows the exiles to return to Jerusalem and instructs them to begin rebuilding the temple. Thousands of Israelites, encouraged by God's prophets, return home. But many choose not to return to Judah. One man, Mordecai, is living in the city of Susa, one of the 4 capitals of the Persian Empire, with his adopted daughter, Hadassah, also known as Esther. Under God's protection, Esther, a Jew, becomes queen.